is the ANC, which is set to finalize a list of 10,000 candidates for local government elections. Now, this ahead of the Independent Electoral Commission's deadline for Monday for their submission of candidate names. Our reporter, Govan Whittles, is watching developments, and he joins us now. And a very good afternoon to you, Govan.
Good afternoon, Notema.
And maybe just give us an idea of what the selection candidate process actually entails.
Well, the process entails the reviewing of the list which was submitted to the National Executive Committee of the ANC. And those lists were submitted after the Provincial Executive Committee meetings yesterday. And what we saw was the Provincial Executive Committees not only reviewing the candidates that were suggested by the different regional structures of the ANC, but also considering those candidates which weren't members of the ANC, but which were preferred by the ANC support base in the different communities. And this is one of the serious considerations that the ANC's extended National Executive Committee meeting this weekend will have, because it is running a new process led by the former Deputy President of the party, Kgalema Motlanthe, in which it's shaken up the way that it selects its candidates. And they have a few priorities. Let's have a look at what the Deputy Secretary General, Duarte, had to say about these priorities.
We are expecting to register 10,000 candidates on Monday morning. Our processes right now is that our provincial extended PEC meetings are sitting today to finalize. They go region by region and look at it from the point of view of finalizing one municipality at a time. We then upload that onto the IEC's data system so that by tomorrow night we would be able to have a completed list. The NEC will sit tomorrow and review the list from the point of view of our policies. Gender parity is an important element that we look at. We look at least 25% of the entire list being made up of a cohort of youth, young people. We look at retention of councillors that have done good work in their communities and in their councils over the last 5 years. So the NEC particularly looks at that. Of course, the other demographic about geography is obvious. People will come from where they come from in their ward. Non-racialism is an important and very vital element of a list for the ANC.
Govan, they've also weighed in on the application to postpone the elections. What are they saying?
They're saying it's very difficult for them to reach their core constituencies, particularly in the rural areas where they believe there's a massive digital divide and they can't reach potential voters through the suggested electronic campaigning methods. This is particularly significant because in the arguments yesterday at the Constitutional Court, many of the opposing parties in the application by the IEC cited that political parties, like businesses, would have to adapt to this new normal and find a different way to operate. The ANC is saying that the restrictions placed on political party activities has huge significance and a big impact on the party's ability to function, and therefore on this basis they don't believe the elections would be free and fair. Let's have a look at what Duarte had to say.
We are ready. However, we have put our position to the ConCourt as a friend of the court, in that we thought it would not be wise to ask for a constitutional amendment for a short-term problem. Because the long-term reality is that we must have elections every 5 years. We must be able to ensure that our democratic processes are free and fair. And for us, we participated fully in the inquiry by former Deputy Chief Justice Moseneke, and our submission to him was that we believe that we have a very different way of engaging with the constituency. Ours is a direct communication. Our constituency is not as enabled as many others to be on Facebook and Twitter and WhatsApps and many other electronic means. We have to communicate directly. We also have to take our manifesto to the communities in the languages that they understand and relate to. So it's not one language, English, that works in the constituency that we serve, and therefore we preferred to be given the opportunity for a longer period of time to do that. The ANC always sets aside a 90-day period of elections, of campaigning. We won't have that. So if the elections, if the Concord does not move the elections, we are ready and will work incredibly hard for the days that are here and now up to the 27th of October.